Hey guys, welcome to Mitch's Music. So this week we have been talking through learning by ear. So we started all the way back with the basics on Monday, some things that you can do to just train your ears a little better from singing along to songs to learning some simple songs on the guitar. Then on Tuesday, we started talking about playing chords, learning keys for the song, and just kind of fishing around until you find the key, and then narrowing it down from there. And then today, or yesterday, we talked about some tools that you could use and a little bit about when to use a capo. Now, all of these are fairly short, and so if you have any questions to expand on those, I can come back later and add some new insights to these. Uh, but today we are going to talk a little bit about starting to learn leads. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can start. But leads in general, I have found that if you start to just look up some tabs, learn some songs, some other songs, especially in the genre of the song that you would like, the genre you would like to start learning songs by ear with, that's going to help you a lot because there's even with all of the songs, there's only a variety of positions on the guitar and things that and techniques that people are using. So when you are playing these other songs, um, then you start to build up a repertoire of these different techniques and things to use. And what you'll start to find is that you will see other songs use those techniques. And so a lot of the times I feel like, and I think I said this in an earlier video, that I am not learning by ear anymore. I've just been around enough that when I hear certain things, I've played it before, and so I know how to play it again. So the more you play, the more you're exposed to different songs and different techniques and different things like that. The more easily learning something by ear is going to come. That being said, let me just start out with a couple of things. So, first thing to keep in mind is if you know the names of the notes on the E string, that's really going to help you out in the future, because you can start your scales from those. So this is F, F sharp, G, G sharp or A flat, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E. And remember, sharps and flats can kind of cancel each other out. It's one or the other. But so say for instance, if I was playing in the key of G, and part of the reason it's important is because it gives you a starting point. And with a lot of these songs, so like if I was playing a major scale in the key of G, I would play it like this. All right. But a lot of the lead licks that you learn are not using that full major scale. And they're going to leave out a couple of notes. And a lot of people learn pentatonic scales for this same idea. Um, but country and rock also use this other scale it's very similar to a pentatonic scale. Actually, it is a pentatonic scale. It's just sort of in a different position. So what a pentatonic scale does is it takes out some of the notes in the original major scale that will add dissonance. And so, in a way, it's a foolproof scale. So, like if you see bars on a playground that you can hit, like the pipes, normally they're set up in a pentatonic scale just because if you hit a couple of notes together, they're going to make a fairly pleasing sound. And so, a lot of these notes that I'm going to play are to skip some of the clashes, like the half step clashes within chords. But you have to know where to start. So if you find out that your song is in the key of G, this is where you would start. You start on the third fret, And this scale is for the key of G. And so you're just gonna start here. You're gonna go to the fifth fret, then you're gonna slide up to the seventh, then you're gonna go to the fifth on the A, seventh on the A, and then fifth on the D. And then you can keep going up. So, all right. And then you can keep going up from there. So you got 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, and then you're going to end on 8. So, and so a lot of songs are going to use something within this scale. So like one of the videos I have coming out is a guy for that by Post Malone. And it has this guitar part that comes in. It's in the key of E. So if you think about key of E, we would be doing. So that's basically our notes. So you got E, second fret, sixth fret, second fret, fourth, second. And so it starts out with this guitar part. And that's kind of a lick that you hear a lot of country songs doing. Like if you hear this, it's probably in some sort of an open key most of the time. So you might hear it on A. Or so if you hear those are things that you can kind of train your ears to learn. So that's kind of some of the opening licks. So like Better Man, Better Off. Let me see if I can remember it. Key of A, and it's that same kind of position. So that's the idea with that type of thing. Now, same thing with bends. So say we're back in the key of G. So third fret's where your home is going to be for some of this. And so if you're doing like a kind of Chuck Berry-ish bend, you're going to bend up from the fifth and then play the third right here. So that's an easy lick. And then you've got the country style does this kind of a bend where you have your finger on the third fret and you're bending the second fret up to here. So you're kind of bending in to the G chord. So it sounds like this. And if you hear that kind of a bend, it's always either here, that kind of position. So it's always that kind of position either there or on the B string. You can also do it. So like if you're playing in the key of G, while the chords are playing G, that's your bend. It's bending into the G chord. Then when it switches to C, then you switch to this one. And if some of these B bends, like so when you're doing a B bend right here, you're playing the third fret on the high E and you're bending the B string up to the fifth fret. And those B bends can get kind of hard to do sometimes. The B string, especially up here, is a little hard to move. That's why they invented B benders for some of these licks. And so if you wanted to replace that, you can always just move to the other place. So this is more of like a C bend. So if you're playing in C, so you got C, C, C. So you can do the bend here for G, and then if you wanted to skip a B bend, you can move up to here for your C bend. So I'm starting, so I'm in the C fret. So I'm starting on the 8th fret and I'm going to bend up. Then I'm going to bend up at D. So those are some little licks that you can learn. But like I said, there's no foolproof way to really start learning leads. It's kind of going to fall into the same category as what we talked about with learning chords. Is you're going to have to find out where it is. You're going to have to learn the key, and then from there, you can use some of those techniques I showed you. But the best way to start learning leads by ear is to just learn a couple of other songs, get some riffs and licks under your belt, and then what'll happen is you'll start to listen to these songs, and it'll be a little easier because you've heard it before. That's pretty much it for this week, guys. Next week, I am going to have a different topic. I've rattled around a couple of ideas. I believe I'm going to start with a thing on Monday about if I was starting over as a beginner today, what I would do, things I would use. Um, then on Tuesday, I think I'm going to talk about getting started with open chords, and then later in the week. I'm going to do a little bit on some classic country strumming patterns, so Thursday and Friday of next week, that's what I'm going to do. So starting out with beginners, like if I was starting over as a beginner today, what are some things that I would be using? What are some tools that I would be using? What are some things I would be doing? Then on, we're going to stay on the beginner road, and on Tuesday we're going to look at first chords, getting started with chords, or even just getting started with moving around the guitar. Then on Thursday and Friday, we'll talk about some beginning classic country strumming patterns. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a great